Hello everybody, Glass Half Dead here, and today we have some crazy rules drops, and free rules drops at that, from Warhammer Community. How do you get your hands on these free downloads of new rules? Not only new rules, but also a brand new kill team. Just go to the Warhammer Community site right now. It's the newest post there, but I will link to it in the description of this video if it's months from now and you can't find it. They've given us two things in a single article, and they're two huge things. We are going to talk about the Intercession Squad kill team briefly, but I do want to do a more full video on that a little bit later. Right now, I just want to give a huge overview of what they've given us and start with the kill team LITE rules. What they've done here, and I haven't played with these. I've only had a read through, and what they've done is they've taken their 25 pages of core rulebook, or of actual rules, and removed images and removed examples and have shrunk it to 3 pages. That's it. And one of those pages is just keywords, so that you know what all your special weapons do. It's really 2 pages of rules. This is mind-blowing to think that we had to scroll through 25 pages of rules to get what this is. I'm sure that if one was just playing for the Kill Team LITE rules, perhaps you'd have a lot more questions at the end. But you know what? Good job. I'm all for hating on GW. Classic stuff, great stuff. Punching up, all good. But this seems pretty solid. Got to be honest. They have kept some interesting things in there, which I believe are additions. So instead of having examples, they have something that I would call in-rule flavor text, mechanical flavor text, if you will. For example, obscured. The intended target is obscured if it's more than circle from large intervening terrain taller than it. However, the active operative ignores parts of the large terrain within black of itself when determining this. Imagine them peering around a window, ledge, or corner as necessary. There you go. It's just, I really like that it just gives you this little bit like, hey, this is what's happening mechanically, and thematically, this is what's happening. I quite like that addition of the thematic element so that you know what it is. Also, very clearly, there is a slight update from the core rules to the LITE rules. We see these 2 diagrams here. These are the only pictures they've kept in, because I think clearly they know just how complicated their line of sight rules are. So you need a diagram. And what we see here is the same kind of diagrams that we have seen in the FAQs. Clearly, since the core rules were written, the designers over there had a rethink about how it is best to explain the complicated concept of line of sight and visibility and all of this stuff. And they have decided that circles makes so much more sense than whatever it was, than trying to figure out cover lines and straight lines within the cover line. So they've obviously modified this. I think that's really cool. I'm not going to go over all of this because essentially there's no need. Because if you know how to play Kill Team, this doesn't add anything. You still know. These are the LITE rules. These are the rules where if you're new to the game, you don't even need to buy the core rulebook. You just play this. Awesome. I think this is great. I don't want to say that it... So when I saw this, I went over immediately and I looked at 1-page rules. Because you know what? Let's see if I can pull it over here. Here we go. These are... Yeah, you can't see it. Okay, that's fair. Never mind. Anyway, just very briefly, 1-page rules is still 1 page, whereas, Kill Team is 2 pages. But you know what? Not far off being a similar thing. And these are free. And anyway, all I'm saying is, if you have people that are on the fence about Kill Team, whether they're 40k players or they're people that just think that GW is far too predatory with their monetary issues and values, I guess, boom, free rules. Let's have a quick talk about the Intercession Squad kill team. Now, I'm not going to go over everything. I'm really just talking about the generics of the fact that GW has given us this, okay? I will do, like literally as soon as I have finished this video, I will do a I will start to put together a proper breakdown of this squad. The reason I didn't do that straight away is because I wanted to also note the fact that they gave us light rules. Because when you go onto Warhammer Community, it just says you can download Kill Team's core rules here. So I imagine a lot of people would have seen that and said, I already have the core rules, I already know the core rules, next please. Which would lead you to this. But I wanted to point out, these are not the core rules you and I know and love. These are the light rules. There you go. Likewise, we have the Intercession Squad Kill Team. These are 6 Marines, similar to how all of the elite teams seem to be at the moment. All the Marine teams are 6 models. And it's a mixture of assault and regular intercessors. You can give them all of the same equipment you think you should be able to give them from Compendium, or if you know 40k, from 40k. And I'm not going to talk about their TAC ops. Some of them are great, and you will take them. There you go. Chapter Tactics. This is what it's all about. Thematically, this is almost replacing, for me personally, Death Watch. So basically, if you are, let's say you want to run a Space Wolf. Great. So you will go down here and you can pick any 2 of these abilities. And it's like, oh my god. So you can pick them thematically and say, okay, well, my Space Wolf is aggressive. And he's also, a bit of a raider. You give him those 2 things. He's doing crazy things. This looks so good. Like, again, I have only had a super brief read through of these, but it seems really, really strong. I'm not saying this is like the best team, obviously, but like this seems like a really good team. I think that if you want to get started with Kill Team, you now have light rules, and you have, if you played any 40k, models that you probably already have. You might not have built them because you're not a Space Marine player, but you probably have these models anyway. Minor aside, this is going to be a big thing about my deep dive video of them, but I wanted to throw it out there now. This can be a 1-box Kill Team in 3 different ways. Either you ignore the other half of the team, so let's say you only buy Assault Intercessors. Great. You can just run 6 Assault Intercessors. That's a legal team. Let's say you just get Intercessors. You could just run 6 Intercessors. But there is also a way to get 3 Intercessors and 3 Assault Intercessors in a single box. Do you know how that is? I know. Can you think of which core box has that? There you go. That's the comment you can leave. Let me know, because I know. It's not via like the Warhammer magazines. I'm sure somewhere out there you can end up getting like 5 Intercessors and 5 Assault Intercessors for like £9, but it's not through that. There's a core box that GW always stocks that has this mix of team. Do you know which it is? Anyway, the chapter tactics, super thematic, really cool, really like them. They will allow you to do whatever you want. You could run all of your models with the same 2 traits and say, these are my Space Wolves. This is how they are. Or you could run everyone as Space Wolves, and then actually use, okay, well, the Space Wolf trait is the aggressive trait from the Martial Zealotry. But then I'm going to pick their second trait based on their personality, because I'm playing a really fluffy list. And so, Bjorn here is going to be hardy, whereas how far here, well, he's the stealthy guy. And so they're all aggressive, but then one's hardy, one's stealthy, one's accurate, etc. Really, really cool. Really like it. Ploys, cool. We'll get to them in a moment. Well, no, we won't. Sorry, I'm going to save all of that for the real thing. But there's something we need to pay attention to now, which is 2 things. One, notice that their wounds are 14 base, as opposed to the Phobos, which are 13 base. This is pretty cool, relatively significant. But for those of you confused, like, oh, what does this mean, that the Phobos are like now worse, or the Phobos are going to get upgraded by a wound? They've, GW's rebalanced the wound system. No, this is how they were in Compendium as well. So the Phobos teams, they're meant to be the stealthy guys, and they have less wounds, fewer wounds. They were always 13 wounds. Whereas the Intercessor guys, they're the guys that just go, you know, they're the hammer and the anvil. They just go straight into your face. They have 1 extra wound to kind of account for that. But do note that for those of you familiar with the Compendium teams, we now have baked into their profiles, much like many specialist teams get, they get a defining trait that was in the Compendium. For example, for the Eldar fleet, that used to cost you a CP from Compendium, but then the Corsairs came out, and it was baked into the profile. It was their ability, and they get it for free. Same here. The defining trait of Marines, let's be honest, is Bolter Discipline. Well, guess what, guys? You get it for free, baked into the datasheet. If you're an Assault Intercessor, you get to perform 2 fight actions. If you're an Intercessor, you get to perform 2 shoot actions. And actually, there is one additional thing to note about this. Do note that from Compendium, Bolter Discipline stipulates one other thing. It stipulates that if you shoot twice, wrong phrasing. If you do not fight, you can shoot twice. This does not have that. You can start in melee, kill a dude, and then shoot twice. You can attack 3 times and then overwatch. As far as I'm aware, even taking into account the weird shenanigans from Phobos and Track Target, you have here some of the toughest models at base 14 wounds with 3-up saves, with the ability, and APL3 obviously, and the ability to be the most killy things in the game. Or, sorry, I mean, you know, hey, I'd rather have 4 attacks on a Dark Eldar Blaster, right? But potentially, you know, you get the most attack actions in a single activation of anything in the game. And you're really tough to kill. So, yeah. And you know what? The equipment's pretty good too. I'm not going to lie, there's some good stuff on this. And then we also have the full, because it is a full team, we have all of the narrative stuff, which I guess some people play with. I should really be touching up a little bit about how all of this works, but long story short, these guys are really good. How are people going to run them? I'm going to leave that for my own breakdown. Which tactical ploys and strat ploys are we going to be using now that we don't need to use Bolter Discipline? Again, leave that for the real breakdown. Gosh. Which chapter tactics are actually the best as opposed to just, this is the fluffy thing? Save that for the breakdown. However, if you have, and I think, so I've already said, do you know the box, the core box out there that lets you pick up 3 Intercessors and 3 Assault Intercessors in a single box? I would point out that also, if you just buy the standard GW starter kit, which gives you, the Space Marines and the Necrons, you get, I think it's 5 Assault Intercessors in there. And then you also get like a leader model who can very clearly just be a proxy for whatever you want your sergeant to be. So there you go. Gosh. I don't have much else to say. This is just a good move by GW. Free rules for one of their best games, which has the most accessibility thanks to its size and scale, and great. Yeah, I'm hyped. I hope I can put these on the table as quick as I can, but of course, before I put them on the table, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to talk to some people that are way better at the game than me, and then I'm going to tell you what they say about this team in a nice, easy to digest, PowerPoint style format so that you know how to run them. And with that said, I hope you've enjoyed watching. I hope you're hyped. Guys, what do you think about this? Are you a GW cynic? And you're like, oh, it's about time GW puts out rules for free. And completely ignore reality, the fact that it's still progress and a step forward? Or are you a GW shill like me and it's just totally hyped that GW has realized that, yeah, if you give people stuff for free, they'll probably play your games more? and I honestly just want people to play more GW games. Sorry, I just want more people in general to play games. But because I cover Kill Team, I want more people to play Kill Team. Anyway, let's get hyped, guys. Bye.